Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So we continue with our 100 days coding challenge. This is all we did the last time. But if you look at the top of our menu, you see that we now have some icons here. So we have these social media links here at the top of our menu. And if you scroll down, you see we have another section here. So this is a section with 3 cards, and in this card we have an image, you have the card title, we have paragraph text, and we also have a button with a bit of color transition here. Okay, so we are going to try and fix this up and what we stopped last time. We'll try and create this and also see how we can also add this to our website. So we're going to build this web page to a point where you can upload this to your GitHub account, okay? And in our next session, if you've not signed up to GitHub and have your GitHub account, we are going to do that in our next session so that you're able to upload your code as you go to your GitHub account. Now, that being said, we'll visit our code editor, and from there, we will try to see how we can add this and also add this section to our web page. Okay, so let's go visit our code editor. So this is our code editor, and this is our code editor, our HTML, and this is the CSS of our code editor. Okay, so the first thing we will do is to link this to our HTML. So this is font awesome CDN, and how do I get this link if I want to link this? So all you need to do is to go to your browser and look for font awesome CDN. So this is the CDN, font awesome CDN. And here we want to use the beta 3. So this is the latest, the beta 3. So all you need to do is to copy this, and then you can paste this inside your code editor. So you can paste this just between here and here. All right. So you have your link, and then you paste this inside the href. All right. So that being said, we're then going to create a section here just before the navigation bar at the top here. We're going to create a section here, and in this section we'll try to recreate these guys here. Okay, we'll try to recreate these guys. So let's go on and see how we can do that. So here, let's give it a comment here, and we'll just call this social icons. Oh, sorry about that. So here, icons link. Okay, and let's go ahead and see how we can include that to our website. So first, we'll create a div just like that. So this is the div, the opening and closing tag that's going to carry our social icons. So let's give our div a class, and let's call it top bar, so that because it's going to sit on top of the nav bar. So class top bar. Okay. So that's that for our div, and let's go ahead and create our unordered list. And inside our unordered list, we'll create our I tags here. But before then, let's give this a class name also, our unordered list a class name. And let's call that social icons. Okay, so that's that. So the next thing we will do is to have our icons here. So we're going to use our I tag, not the label, but I tag. We're going to use our I tag. And inside our I tag, we will include an A tag so that we're able to reference these guys to a particular place in our web page. So for now, we will link them to, so let's start by, let's give this Facebook. So this is going to be https colon and facebook.com. Facebook.com. So if we're linking to a particular web page, we can just include that and just add a forward slash to that so that it can link us to a particular web page. All right. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'll just add a forward slash here and I'll say Starlink info, just something like that so that it will link us to a particular Facebook page. So here, after having our Facebook link, the next thing we will do is to set our target. So here, target, we want this to be blank such that when we tap on this link, it should take us to another tab on the browser. We don't want it to be inside the website. It should take us to another tab. All right, so that's all we have blank there. And then the next thing we're going to do is to have a class for our font awesome icons. So here, this is going to be our icon for Facebook. So fab Facebook, fab Facebook. Yes. So that should take us to, that should give us our Facebook link. So if you want to see these links, this code snippets and how you can copy them, you can simply go to your font awesome. So if I refresh this now, you see we have just Facebook here now. So you can simply go to your font awesome website. So fontawesome.com. So go to fontawesome.com, this one, and here you can get your icons. You can get your icons, and then, so let's go to socials, free. So here you can get your icons. All you need to do is just to search for your icon. So let's say we need this location icon. So we tap on location icon. Here we can see our class here. So far solid far location dot. So this is, so you can just copy the snippet and paste it between your A tag if you want. All right. So let's go ahead. We just close this now. Let's go ahead and continue and have more icons. So what we do here is to just copy this and I'll paste this 3 more times using Ctrl V to paste. All right, so here I will change this to instagram.com. So here I will change this to Twitter. And here I will change this to YouTube. All right. So target is going to be blank, but we'll have to change this. So this icon is no longer Facebook. So this is going to take us to Instagram. So this is going to be fab. This is going to be fab. Fab. So instead of Facebook now, it's going to be Instagram. Yeah, Instagram. And then the next is going to be Twitter. Twitter. And the next is going to be YouTube. Okay, so that's fine. The next thing we will do is to create, let's have another I tag here, and let's have an A tag here. So here, what I want to do is to have a telephone such that we are able to receive calls. So someone can tap on our telephone icon and it will dial automatically. All right, so you don't need to copy the number. All you need to do is to tap on the icon and it will take you to your dialer and you can dial the number. So let's add country code. I'm in Nigeria, so let me add *234, and then let's add a number. Something like that. So now we have our number. So like I say, once you tap on it, it should take you to your dialer to be able to call that number directly without copying it. So let's add the class for this. So the class is fast, phone. Fast, phone. That is the class. All right, so here we can save. And let's see what our website look like right now. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 icons sitting pretty at the top. That's beautiful enough. And let's go ahead and try to style this before we can add our other section on the web page. So let's go ahead and style that. So we'll go to our CSS and let's go to the very top. So here we'll add the comment here, and let's just let's call this social icons link. Just like that. So that's our comments for this session. So here, let's see how we can style our social icons. So the first thing we'll do is to look at the class name. So the class name here is top bar. So we're going to use that to style the top bar, which is the div that is carrying the UL, that is carrying the I tag, that is also carrying this. So we're going to style this, style this, style this, and style this. But let's start with the div top bar. So here we know how to reference a class of full stop, and then we say top bar, just something like that. Okay. The first thing we'll do is to give it a background color. We want the background color to be the same with the navigation. So we'll just give it this background color of 333. The next thing we'll give you will be the font color, and that will make that FFF. That's okay. The next thing we will do is to add the padding. So let's add padding top and bottom of 15 ps. Actually, I would like to have padding of top 15 ps. 15 ps. I would like to have pattern of right 20 ps. Pattern of bottom 10 ps and left 20 ps. Okay, that's fine. So the next thing we will add will be a display property, and we want this to display flex. Okay, and the next thing we'll add will be to justify our content, and let's justify our content to flex end. So what flex end will do is to push our content to the right, completely to the right. And flex end, if it's horizontal, it pushes it completely to the left. If it's vertical, it pushes it to the bottom. So if you have like 3 icons or 3 items in this particular container, it will just push them. So 1, 2, 3. You know, if it's vertical, it will just push them and they will stack on each other 1, 2, 3, something like that. So that's what flex end does. All right, so the next thing we will do is to align our items, and we're going to align our items to the center of the bar. Okay, save this, refresh, and see what your code looks like. So now we have our items moving to the right, and then we have our text, our background color change, and then we also have our padding the way we want our padding to look like. Okay, but I think we can still push this padding a bit. So let's see if we can push that padding a bit, and then so padding right. Let's make that 40 ps and see how it's going to look like. 40 ps. Let's refresh and see. Okay. I think it's the same line now. It's on the same line now. Okay, that's fine. Let's go ahead and continue our styling. So we are done with the div. So the next thing we're going to style is to style the unordered is a UI, which is social icons. So we're going to reference the div top bar, and then from there we can see the social icons and we'll style that. So let's do that. Let's go to our CSS, and here we're going to use period, and here we're going to say top bar. Then we'll give it a space, and then we'll say social icons. Social icons. All right, so we reference the top bar, and then inside the top bar, we're going to the social icons. So the top bar here, we're just going to remove the list type. We don't want to have the bullets. So list type, we're going to say none. And then the next thing we will style is the display property. So let's make this to display flex. Okay, let's make this to display flex. The next thing we'll look at will be a gap. We want to have gap in between them. So let's give them 25 pieces. Let's give them 25 pieces like that. Okay. And the next thing we will do is to remove padding and margin around it. So let's remove any padding and any margin that will be around it. So that's fine. We save, refresh, and see what our code looks like. Okay. So our code is looking this pretty already. All right. So now we have these gaps between them, which is pretty. So let's go and style the LI. So the LI will just give it an inline attribute such that these guys are aligned like this. No matter the screen resolution, we put it on either a desktop, a mobile phone, or a television screen. So let's give it an inline display. So here we'll just reference, I will copy this, and here we'll just reference the LI, the list, and then we'll just make the display to be inline. So let's make this display inline such that it displays on all devices inline. Okay, and that is fine. So the next thing we'll do, let me paste this again, is to style our anchor tag, which is our A, class A. So top bar, social, and A. So here we're going to remove every other color and allow the color to be white. So this is going to be FFF, white color. And the next thing we'll do is to remove text decoration. We don't want all the decoration that are with the icons. So text decoration, let's put that to be none. And then let's give it a font size. Font size of maybe 20 pieces. 20 pieces should be fine. And then let's also add a transition to this. Let's add a transition effect to this. And then the transition is just going to be color transition. And let's give it 0. Let's make that 0.3. 0.3 seconds. Okay, save. So let's refresh and see how our website is coming. Beautiful. So now we have our website looking this way. Fonts have been changed to white. So let's go ahead and give it an over effect to that transition. So let's give it an over effect. So here we're going to still reference this guy, and then we'll add the pseudo class of over, just like this. Okay, and then here our over effect is just going to be the color. So we use this particular color. Yes, so that's all we need here. Let's save and let's refresh. Great. So let's see. So now it works. You see, it works. So if you tap here, it takes you to YouTube direct. It takes you to YouTube. Okay, let's see why that, did we add .com to that? YouTube, okay, we didn't include the .com, so we have to add .com here. Now let's go and try that again. Refresh. Let's try that again. So now it takes us to youtube.com. Okay, so it's working. So let's go ahead and add the next section, which is going to be the section that has the 3 cards that have images, a button, a header tag, and a paragraph tag. So let's see how we can do that. So we're going to create that somewhere around here. So let's go to our code, and then let's go to HTML, and inside our HTML, we'll just add that before the footer section, somewhere here before the footer section. So what we can do here is to have our comments, and here let's just call it news section, or let's call it image cards section. Image cards section. Great, so that's our comments. Let's push this down a bit. So the first thing we'll do is to have a section, here. So we'll have to push this down a bit, yeah. And here, let's give this section an ID. Let's give this section an ID, and let's just call it cards. Cards, beautiful. And inside this section, we're going to have an H2 tag here that will just tell us something about the section. And here, let's just say something like explore more. Explore more, just like that. And here, we're going to then have a div. We'll have a div, and this div is going to be the one that will carry the 3 other divs that will carry the cards. Okay, so we're going to have a div here, and inside this div, we'll create 3 more divs. So let's give this div a class name so that we can style with that class name. So let's say class, and let's give this card list. So this is where all the cards are going to be stored inside here. Inside here, all the cards are going to be stored here. So now let's create our first div inside here. And inside this div, first let's give it a class name. And maybe we can just call this card. All right. So inside this div that we just created here, inside this div, we're going to have an image, we're going to have an header tag, and then we're going to have a paragraph and a button inside this div. So let's go ahead and create. First, let's have our img tag, and in the source, we'll go to our images. I already have a few images here. So go to our images, and here I'm going to use this image 3.1, and then alternate. Let me just say 3.1, or let me say olive tree. So this will help if the network is bad. This will help to show what that image is. So sometimes you go to the website and you see that the network is bad and it's trying to load. You can see that there's an image icon there, but you cannot see the image. So this will display first. So this is going to be cut. It's going to be inside this div. Yes, inside this div. Right. Let's be sure. So this is a div that covers everyone here. So this one, that was quite correct. Control X, Control V. Yes, inside this div. So the next thing we'll create inside this div is going to be the head tag. So here, let's use H3, which is smaller than H2. And let's call this olive tree, since we already call it olive tree. So the next thing we'll have is going to be a P tag, and here we'll just generate a random test. Okay. So let me have a break here. Let me have a PR tag here. That's okay. Let me have another PR tag here. Maybe here. A break, a line break. That's okay. And that's also okay. All right. So the next thing we would do is to have our button, right? Let me push this down a bit. Is to have our button tag here. So we have our button tag, and in our button tag, what we'll do, we use the A tag so that our button, we can easily click on our button and take us to where we want our button to take us to. So let's use our A tag, and inside the href, let's just reference this to the About Us section of the web page, something like that, so that it takes us to the About Us section of the web page, just something like that. And let's also give our button a class so that we're able to style our button. And what do we call it? Let's call it card button, so that we know that, okay, this is the class for card button. And here, let's just add a read more text so that we tap on the button to read more about us. So that's fine. So we've been able to create our first card. What I will do is to copy this tag, this card, and paste 2 more times so that we can have 3 inside this container, right? So I have 3 of them. So here I will just copy everything from here. Let me open this. Yes, I'll just copy everything from here to here. Copy with Control C. With Control C. And inside here, I'll paste. Let me just copy this again. Copy with Control C. And I'll paste this 2 times, 1 and 2. All right, so this is card 1. This is card 2. And this is card 3. And these 3 cards are inside this opening and closing div. Okay, so we are done with the CSS of this particular HTML of this particular section. So the next thing we'll look at will be the CSS of this section. So let's see how we can write the CSS. But before then, let us just go and see what our web page looks like. Okay, we need to save this. Ctrl S to save. And let's refresh our web page now. Now we refresh our web page. So we see we have images. So we have the head tag, and then we have an image. You have header tag. Then we have our text, and we have a button here. So an image. So now we have to change these images. Let's change these other 2 images, and also let's change the name from olive tree to something else. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. So here in our second tag, instead of using this image, So let's use three, and here let's just call this three, and that is that. So let's come to card 3, and here we'll change our image to maybe image 4, and let's call this maybe orange 3. So let's save and refresh and see if our images have changed. So yeah, our images have changed. So we have images changed, and we don't have this name change. Okay, we were changing the alternate this thing. So we also need to change it here. So let's change it here. So this is going to be orange. It's going to be orange. This is going to be palm tree. All right, so this is going to be palm tree. So let's refresh. Okay, so now it has changed. Great. So let's go ahead now. It's time to style. It's time to style our web page. All right, this particular session. So let's see. So we'll start from the section to style. We'll start from the session. And then our session, will give our session an ID, and the ID is card. So let's type card first. So just before the footer section, we'll put our code here. All right. So let's write our comments so that someone will know that, hey, this section is image card section, something like that. Okay. So let's see what we can do with card, which is the ID. So the first thing we'll do is to set a background color, and let's make that background color this shade of black, A1. Okay, now let's align tests. Let's align the test to center so that everything inside the section, every test inside the section is centered. And let's add the padding of 60 px top and bottom, so that we have a space between the top and bottom section, and then 30 px left and right, just something like that. Let's save and see how our section is coming. Okay, great. Not too much changes though. Let's go ahead and style this guy here. All right. So we'll just take it like that down. So let's style that guy. So reference card. No, let's do it inside here. So reference card, and inside card, we're going to pick our H2, which is this guy, Explore More, H2. All right, so card and then H2. Great. Let's see how we can style that. So what I want to do here is just to give it a color. So I'll give this guy a color, and then it will be in the shade of the orange you'll be using. Sorry. So I have to give it color. Yep. So this color is fine. So that's that for the header. So let's go ahead and style the div. The div that carries where is that? Card section. Okay, yeah. So let's style the div that carries these other 3 divs. okay, the mother or the parent of these other three divs. Let's start that, and it's a class with a name card list. So let's go ahead and do that. So here, full stop, I will say card list here. Okay, so let's try this. We'll just give it a display. I will use Flex. We've been using Flex display. Okay, so the next thing we'll do is to justify our content. And let's justify the content to the center of the web page. And then let's also create, just give it gaps between all the icons. And then let's give it gap of 20 ps so that the image, the button, the header tag, they will have spaces between them. Okay, so I think this is fine like this. This is fine like this. Now let's go ahead and see how we can make this look pretty. Okay, now they are together, but look at the way they look. But it's fine, it's fine. So let's make this even more beautiful. What are we styling next? So let's style the card. So let's style the card so that we're able to style these guys inside the card. All right. So inside here, we're going to style card. So we say full stop, and we say card. And here, let's give it a background color. Give it a background color of #333. Yep. Let's create some padding inside the element. And let's just give it 20 ps all around padding. That's top, right, bottom, and left. And let's create border radius. Okay, so our card container, let's give it a radius. Let's just make that 8 ps all around. Then flex one so that it will be at the top. Flex one. So it's above, in layers, it's above every person. And let's give this a minimum width. We don't want this to be less than a particular width. So let's give this a minimum width of 300 ps, and we'll see how it looks like. 300 ps. And let's give this a maximum width. Let's use a maximum width of 400 ps. Maybe we can make this 250 minimum, a maximum for 400 ps. So it shouldn't be more than 400 ps in width, no matter the content we put inside. Let's also set the display property to flex. Okay, and let's give it a flex direction. We want to give it a direction, and the direction is going to be column. Okay, and then let's align our items to the center. Yeah, just like that. And let's create a box shadow, just a little box shadow in a container. So 0, 2 pairs, just the same box shadow we've been using all the while, 5 pairs. And let's give it opacity of 0.1. Great, I think that's okay for the card. So let's save and see what our website look like. So this is how our website is coming on right now. Okay. So let's try and see how we can style the images inside our cards. Let's style the images inside our card because the images are making the section look a bit awkward. So let's style the IMG. tags. So here we are going to reference card, and inside tag we'll have to reference the img tag. So let's give this width. We don't want the width to be beyond certain level. So let's say 100 ps and see how it's going to look like. And then let's give it a height of auto. Okay. So it cannot go above the card. And maybe we'll give it a border radius. The IMG, let's give it a border radius of 10 ps. Okay. So let's see. Yeah. So this looks better now. This looks way better, right? So the images are now confined into their space, not beyond their space now. Now let's go ahead and style our header, which is the h3 tag we used. Let's say we can style that, this tag here. Let's say we can just give it a bit of styling. So here we're going to say card, and inside the card we want to enter the h3, and here we'll just give it a color. So let's give it this color, and also let's give it a margin so that there's space between the h3 tag and the image and then the text. So let's give it a margin. So our margin is going to be 20 ps at the top, 0 for right, and then 20 ps for the bottom, something like that. So this automatically takes the left to 0. Okay, that's fine. So let's also style the P. That's a paragraph. So card and then P. So we're styling the paragraph now. So once we want the paragraph to be at the top of every other thing, let's test align this to the left. Okay, something like that. So let's save, and then we're going to style our button next. So that's the only thing we are left to style. So we're going to style our button left next. So I like the way this is looking. So you can put it at the center, but I just like the way it's looking from the left to the center. So let's style our button. Let's style our button. So here, okay, I would love this to be, let's cut this. So let's just have it here. Yeah. Let me take this down some more. Okay. So now let's go ahead and style our button. So here we're going to say card button. Remember that is the class we used. So our button and card button. Okay. So let's go ahead and style our button. First, let's give it a display of inline block. Display of inline block. And let's give it some padding. So top and bottom 10 ps and then 20 ps for the sides. That's the left and the right 20 ps. Let's give a background color. We want the background color to be this shade of orange. So let's also give it the color. That's the font. color, and let's make that white. Let's remove text decoration, and then we just make this none so that we don't have any decoration. Let's give it a border radius, and let's make that maybe 8 ps and see how it's going to look like for the border radius. Then let's give it a transition. Let's do a button transition so that it's the same way we have the other one. So here we're just going to give it a transition of background color, and let's make this 0.4 seconds is okay. That is fine. And let's also give it a box shadow, and let's give it the same box shadow we'll be using, which is 2 ps here. The blur value is 5 ps, and then RGB of this, excuse me. Okay, so another thing I want us to do is to have a margin top. So let's have a margin top so that we create space between it and the paragraph text. And let's just give that 10 ps and see how it looks. So let's refresh and see how our button looks like. Okay, so our button looks somewhat like this, and then we'll have this space that was not there. So now let's try and give this an over, so that if we come towards it, you see that transition, it will change the background. So let's go ahead and do that. So here we're going to reference our card button, and then we'll make that over card button, and then the over pseudo class. Okay, so here all we want is just the background. So let's give it a background color. And let's make that this. Okay, and I think that's fine. Let's save and then refresh our page. And yeah, so we see that is transition as we come close to it. That is transition as we come close to it. So you can also play around with the colors and all that, and the gaps and all the images and all that. Yeah. So basically, we've been able to do justice to this. So if we tap on this, it should take us to the About Us section of our web page. So this is what our web page is looking like right now. Looking pretty already, and we're going to be improving on this web page as we continue on this journey. Okay, guys, this will be the end of today's session. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening to me. If you've not subscribed, please do so. Leave a comment, share, just to make sure YouTube knows that the page is active. All right, guys, thank you, and see you guys in our next session, hopefully. God bless you.